Epic Games has put a temporary halt on Fortnite advertising on YouTube, a phrase brought on by the recently unearthed news that its ads were running on videos used by online predators to coordinate and exploit children. The Verge reports that Epic is pausing its pre-roll advertisements, the short ads that play ahead of videos on the platform, on YouTube, and reached out to the platform and parent company Google to determine actions they will take to eliminate this type of content from their service. The issue stems from the fact that YouTube is seemingly facilitating the communication of child predators through its recommendation algorithm, as well as through the comment sections on seemingly innocuous videos featuring young children. It's an issue that was highlighted by Matt Watson on Reddit earlier this week, and explored further in a Verge report shortly after. YouTube's recommended algorithm is facilitating pedophiles, split to connect with each other, trade contact info, and link to actual child pornography in the comments, explained Watson's original post. I can consistently get access to it from the never-before-used YouTube accounts, via innocuous videos in less than 10 minutes, in sometimes less than 5 clicks. For example, those videos featured comments from child predators that share time stamps intended to sexualize a child featured in a video that, taken at face value, is not deemed inappropriate content on its own, because such videos are mundane and outside of the spin given by commenting predators, appropriate for advertising under YouTube's AdSense requirements. Advertisements for things like Fortnite run before the video starts. Any content including comments that endangers minors is abhorrent, and we have clear policies prohibiting this on YouTube, a YouTube representative told The Verge. There's more to be done, and we continue to work to improve and catch abuse more quickly. The issue, however, has companies like Epic Games that typically run a great deal of advertising on YouTube concerned. A deeper look at how this kind of content got a foothold on the platform can be found in The Verge's full write-up. Tencent has announced a handful of rules for streamers playing Tencent games, a move that aims to keep the company on the right side. Chinese regulations that recently went into effect. The list, shared by Nico partners, contains 12 prohibited behaviors ranging from violations of China's social values to distributing or promoting cheats or viruses on air, and Tencent says those that ignore the guidelines risk losing the ability to stream the company's games in the future. Those prohibited behaviors include, in a statement spotted by the Esports Observer, a Tencent representative notes that, as the behavior of streamers reflects back on the company and industry, Tencent has a responsibility to enforce certain standards and values. The company notes that it plans to strictly enforce those rules across all streaming platforms, productions, institutions, and streamers. There is a natural copyright relationship between gaming contents and live streaming platforms, reads the statement. Tencent, as a gaming streaming platform leader and game publisher, has the responsibility to promote the standardization and authorization of streaming contents in the industry. These rules come as the Chinese government continues to tighten restrictions on video games in an effort to cut down on video game addiction and overindulgence among minors. Legislation from the government has pushed companies like NetEase and Tencent into implementing playtime restrictions and curfews into their games, with Tencent going so far as to test a facial recognition tech to enforce its limits. The 2019 Game Developers Conference has released the results of the 7th Annual State of the Industry Survey, revealing trends in the game industry ahead of DD 2000. On 19th March, the survey compiles responses from nearly 4,000 game developers, and reflects that nearly half of game developers support game industry unionization, as well as uncertainty around Steam's revenue-sharing model, and insights into the amount of time developers have spent working overtime hours in so-called crunch. The State of the Industry Survey is the seventh entry in the ongoing series of yearly reports and serves as a snapshot of the game industry, illustrating industry trends ahead of DD 2019. Organized by UM, DD 2019 takes place March 18th-22 at the Moscone Convention Center in San Francisco, California. Nearly half of game industry professionals think game industry workers should unionize. Unionization is a hot topic in the game industry these days, and nearly half of the game industry professionals surveyed think it's a good idea. When asked whether they thought game industry workers should unionize, 47% said yes, 26% said maybe, 16% said no, and 11% said they did not know. However, when asked whether they think video game workers actually will unionize, only 21% said yes. The largest share, 39%, gave an uncertain, maybe. 25% of respondents said they do not think it will happen, and 15% said that they do not know. It is critical that people who work in games are able to maintain a healthy lifestyle, live normal lives, and be able to enjoy a high quality of life that will work well for their spouses and families, wrote one respondent. But there is too much supply. Too many people want into the industry, claimed another. Those who unionize will be shoved out of the way as companies hire those with fewer demands. Steam is the storefront to beat on PC, but some devs thrive on smaller competitors. Given how many notable new game storefronts debuted in 2018, such as the Epic Games Store and Discord Store, this year, survey respondents had the option to disclose which PC Mac game storefronts they sell their games on, and what percentage of their platform sales came from each. As expected, the most popular answer was Steam, with roughly 47% of those who responded to this question saying that they sell games on Valve's storefront. Of the respondents who said they sell their games on Steam, the majority, 54%, say Steam accounts for 75 to 100% of their sales revenue, and another 17% say it makes up 50 to 74% of their total revenue. Conversely, GOG, Humble, and Discord each accounted for less than 10% of revenues earned by a notable majority of the respondents who sell games there. Interestingly, while indie-centric stores each have a similar ratio, 52% of devs who use it say it generates less than 10% of their revenues. It also had a surprisingly high number of respondents, 28%, who said it accounts for 75 to 100% of their earnings. This shows that ITCH's open approach have likely attracted smaller indies who sell exclusively on it. Most game makers are not sure Steam still justifies its 30% cut, in light of how competition is heating up for PC games marketplaces. The survey also asked respondents whether they felt that Steam in its current form justifies a 30% cut of their game's revenue, which it currently takes. Only 6% said yes, and 17% said maybe. The rest said no or were not sure, with the largest share, 32%, saying Steam currently does not justify Valve's revenue share. 27% said such a large cut probably is not justified, and 17% said they just did not know. Take less revenue from sales and curate their store better for visibility for real games, is what one respondent wrote when we asked what features respondents felt Steam could add to better serve developers. Better support for amateur, hobbyist, and independent creators, wrote another. More fostering of things like game jams and actual development communities to be created on the platform. Nearly half of game makers work over 40 hours a week on games. To get a sense of the current labor conditions in the game industry,